Friends, I made it and you made it. There is always another way, and I'm going to find it. And I tried to go live on my phone because my internet was all wacky. Thank you for staying online with me here. I'm Peggy Hall, and this is the Healthy American Morning. And it is Thursday. It is Veterans Day. Today is November 11th. How about that? 11/11. 2021. Oh my goodness. Aren't you glad 2020 is over? When 2020 started, I thought it was just the coolest thing ever, that 2020. It sounded so neat. Little did I know what was in store for us. I know that brighter days are ahead, and that is what I'm here for, to bring positive value to your life. This is a sponsored show. And right off the bat, I want to take 30 seconds and bring you this important message from my sponsor. We are going to head on over to agewithpeggy.com. I like to think of it as agewellwithpeggy.com. And here we are. The message is about turmeric, and it has been trending for years because of its anti-aging properties. So for me and thousands of others, we have personally experienced these healthy aging benefits of turmeric. But we have a secret. It is Age with Peggy. This is not your typical turmeric. It uses a turmeric extract that is 46% more absorbable. And three things began to happen when I started taking it. First, my skin, looked and felt younger. I've been teaching like hours all day, day in, day out. But I tell you what, I'm glad that my skin looks and feels younger because of this product, and my joints feel better. They really do. They feel better than they have in years. And third, I really like the extra anti-aging and immune supporting ingredients that they've added. So take agewithpeggy.com and you will experience the anti-aging benefits of turmeric for yourself. I would love for you to go to agewithpeggy.com. I will also have the link for you below. And if you click that, you can get 43% off your order today. It is the Healthy American Morning, and I made it. I was online with my wonderful moderator, Rhonda. Thank you to all of the mods that are online, keeping the stream positive and flowing. And I could not get on YouTube. And I asked her, is my YouTube channel still up? So I tried to stream live on my phone. There's always another way, and I'm going to find it, but it didn't work. So I deleted that video. I'm back with you. Thank you, everyone. At the end of today's program, I want to share with you this precious, precious card from a wonderful Healthy American. I will have the link below if you would like to send me a card. Thank you, everyone. I love getting them. And I thank you also for your support, your donations. If you're getting value from this program, I really appreciate you letting me know. We are talking all about making decisions. I think yesterday's video that I did about questions to ask yourself, let me know what you think, friends. I rewatched that. I like to watch the videos again and again because I learn different things. And I think that was my best video I've ever made. I have probably thousands of videos. Somehow that one really got to the point of creating a foundation in your life that honors your God-given conscience, your personal way of living life without just being a people pleaser. Maybe it just spoke to me, but that video, if you haven't seen it, it's questions to ask yourself when you're making a decision. This is life-changing for me. Let me know what you think about that. We are going to talk all about the road not taken. I want to hop on over to the stream to see all of you. Thank you for that thumbs up. And a reminder, when you minimize the chat, you'll see the like button come up on your phone or on your computer. And Shelly is asking about the closed captions. I don't know how that works, Shelly. If someone does, maybe they can enable that. I see that little CC button. And one thing I'm trying to do is get a different streaming software so I can stream to Instagram and Facebook and YouTube all at the same time, because I have wonderful audiences on Instagram. I have amazing Healthy Americans over on Facebook. Thank you to all healthy Americans that are on all of those platforms with me. And then I do have a Telegram channel. I am never on that channel. I have someone else help me with that. And I believe I'm on Gab and I'm on Rumble. And a big shout out to Emma, who helps me with my social media and the videos. Big shout out to Rhonda. We had Valerie, who was helping us. KP has been amazing here on our chats. So I thank you for all of that. America First said that I demonstrated my video title. Thank you for that. A shout out to all the veterans. Thank you for the reminder, Rhonda. Do you know we have a healthy American who is a World War II veteran? His name is Fred Clark, and Fred is the father of Emma, who I just mentioned. And Fred comes to our beach church. He comes to all of our events. I would like you to come to our events. So let me give a quick plug to our Thanksgiving event. I'm going to bring you right on over. You are going to love this flyer. Let me know if you went to our Thanksgiving last year. We had over 300 people. It was incredible. Let me share my screen and we're going to hop right on over and then we'll dive into the content of today. So what I would like you to do is go to thehealthyamerican.org, click on events, and look at this. Is so darn fun. The second annual Healthy American Thanksgiving Day Feast. Yes, it is on Thanksgiving Day. It is come and spend all day if you like. The meal will be served around noon. It is in, well, I can't tell you where it is. Oh, but it's in San Diego. I can't tell you where it is because that is only for ticket holders. But I will tell you that it is in San Diego. It is in a beautiful setting. I hope you're going to come join us. There's going to be entertainment. It's not going to be political at all. We're going to talk all about all of the blessings and all of the blessings yet to come. We would love to hear from you. We want you to be a part of our Healthy American Thanksgiving Day Feast and a part of our Healthy American family. So when you click through, you'll have all of the description. These are tickets because it is a catered meal. It is going to be so lovely and wonderful and delicious. So bring the whole family. We have people that came from Texas and Utah and Nevada. They drove all over to get to California last year. It was amazing. So you don't want to miss out, and we don't want to miss out on seeing you. And tell your friends, this is the way to do it. Some of you, like me, some of your family members, you're not really, how should I put it, speaking to any longer. And it's just awkward and you don't really want to spend Thanksgiving with them. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. You know, if you have another obligation, why don't you go do the obligation early in the morning, come join us, or come join us, and then you could leave and go see your family later in the day. So a lot of people did that. And a lot of people brought their family, brought their friends. Please join us. It's amazing. It is an outdoor venue. It's incredible. You're going to love it. And we are going to love having you. So give me a comment in the chat if you want to come join us Thanksgiving, and all of the information is here at the website under events. And if you are on our newsletter, you can click here to go to newsletter and you can sign up for the newsletter. You can get all of the past newsletters as well. I have so much important information that comes out in the newsletter, and because it's visual and documents things that I can't do here in a video. So there we have it. Love to see you. Those of you that came online to talk about your religious exemption, let me just do a quick detour here. Please click on this page, religious exemptions. And then I'm not going to be answering questions about that on this show because this is all about our emotional, I'm going to say elevating our emotional wellness. I like that phrase. Right? We want to feel better. We want to feel stronger. We want to deal with all this hogwash, and we want to actually claim our own gifts that have been given to us by God. And that is what I want to do. I want to encourage you, as I have been encouraged, to just open your heart and let it just be flooded with God's light and love and truth. In my view, it's a much better way to go through life. All right. So if you want to battle these tyrants, everything is here for you. And you can click through and see all of my videos here. And what I recommend you do, this is going to take you right on over. You just start with the most recent and work your way backwards. You're going to get value in every single one of these. Look at, they're about an hour. They average about an hour a piece. Some of these go longer than an hour. And you can play it on a double speed. You just click the little gear and you can listen to it faster. And I would listen to these again and again and again and again. Look at Southwest, that was almost 2 hours. You need to binge watch the videos if you want to be educated. I cannot spoon feed you all the answers. You need to be educated in how to be a critical thinker, and anything you're faced with, you can get through, because I'm going to give you the driving lessons, and then you need to drive the car. All right, let's do the stop share. Let's get back to our wonderful healthy Americans here. And finally, let's talk about the road not taken. Friends, I love our get-togethers, and today is Thursday, so I will not be seeing you tomorrow. But what I would love for you to do tomorrow, you know what I might do? I think I'm going to I will tee up the video from last year's Thanksgiving. And I'm going to air that on my backup channel. My backup channel is Living Swell with Peggy Hall. And I want to thank all of you subscribers here at the Healthy American. And some time ago, some months ago, YouTube was fiddling with the algorithm. And for several months, I could not even get one new subscriber added. It never showed. And people were telling me that they were subscribing, and it was crazy because I couldn't even move that needle one bit. I think they lifted the lid off some of the censorship and oppression. And now I just love having you all on board as subscribers. I'm here every morning, 10 a.m. Pacific, except for Friday. But I am going to do this special live, it's called a premiere, and I'm going to do that for you tomorrow on the backup channel, Living Swell. So you'll need to search that out. I think I have links in some of the descriptions. And that's my backup channel. So sometimes I will put videos there that might be a little sensitive, because I do not want to get a strike on this channel. If you don't know what that means, it means if a channel like the Healthy American gets a strike, if they take down a video, I cannot upload. I cannot upload any videos for a week. And then if I get a second strike, they take the video down, they do not let me upload for 2 weeks. That's an eternity. I like to see you almost, every day if possible. And then on the third strike, they take down your whole channel, which means I can never see you again. I've got 146,000 people today that want to hear from me. And so I want to protect this channel. Living Swell, you can subscribe to as well. And Living Swell also gets all of these videos uploaded, but not live. So if they ever give me a strike and you don't see me here, sail on over to Living Swell with Peggy Hall, subscribe there, and that's where I'll be. And that's where this video about last year's Thanksgiving will be. All right, enough of the announcements. We are ready for the topic of the show, and this is all about the road not taken. This concept that I'm about to share with you was one of the most important concepts that I've ever implemented in my life. And if you're like me, you probably have made decisions that just still harm, they don't harm, but they still bring you heartache. If you think back, it's like, why did I do that? I wish I had done that. I wish I hadn't have done that. I should have known better. In yesterday's video about the questions to ask yourself, I reminded you to not be too hard on yourself, because you didn't have the awareness that you have now. And if you had the awareness about what choices you wanted to make, you didn't have the ability or the tools. And that's what I'm helping you with here. So I want you to cut yourself some slack. And then let's talk about the road not taken. Bring yourself back to a decision that you made that you regret. I know this might be painful, so choose something that might be a little bit more lighthearted and not too traumatizing. I have something very traumatizing where I think I mentioned it before, and it was, it's hard to even talk about it. So I'm not going to, well, maybe I'll talk about that another day. Let's talk about the a less traumatizing experience where I sold a table that my dad and I had refinished. It was a vintage table, and we worked on it, and we recovered the chair. In fact, one of these days I'm going to bring the chair that I saved, and I'm going to sit on that and show it to you. And it was a very intricate design, so it took a lot of time to refinish it and improve on it. And we used that dining room table for many years. It was a little rickety. It wasn't that stable. And when we were having a remodel on our home, we realized that that dining room table didn't really go with our decor any longer. And my husband wanted me to sell it. And I was a little bit reluctant, but I ended up selling it to a neighbor. And to this day, it's like, oh, I wish I had that table, because my dad and I refinished it. So that was a decision that I made because I was doing people pleasing. I was pleasing my husband. And some of you may say, well, that's what you should do, Peggy. You should put other people first. I know. I have a different view of things now. I could have delayed that decision. I could have kept the table. I could have put it in storage. I could have rented it to somebody. I could have said, hey, why don't you keep it for a while? And then in a year, I'd like to have it back. Or, there's all different ways. There's always another way, and I'm going to find it. There's always another way, and I'm going to find it. So I want to use this scenario on purpose that's not too emotional and too traumatizing, because sometimes the emotions of the trauma will not allow us to see further. So that's why I'm using more of a lighthearted one that doesn't have anything to do with life or death or anything like that. So I'd like you to think of an example that's a little bit more lighthearted, like, I should have gone on that trip and I didn't, or I went on that trip and I wish I hadn't, something like that. Here's the road not taken. In my mind, the decision was always, I wish I had kept that table. Life would be so much better with that table. Fill in the blank. Things would have gone smoother if I had kept that table. I wouldn't be regretting it if I had made a different decision, and on and on and on and on. I can see that this example of the table is not going to be that good because it is just the table. Let me give you the example of selling the childhood home. That hits a little bit closer into the heart-rendering, wrenching scenario, and it's better suited for this situation. I talked about this in the past, that we sold my family's home after my parents had passed away. It had been the family home for 40 years. We were the only owners. It was built. I mean, we bought the house. It hadn't even been built yet. So it was our house from the beginning to the end. I hope we'll go back and watch all of these amazing heavenly hugs that I experienced with selling this home. And we had a major decision to make. Do we keep it and live in it? Do we keep it and rent it? Do we just keep it? Do we sell it? Well, there's a lot of choices here. And in that, it was the childhood home for 40 years. And it was a connection to my family. It was like, I didn't really want to sell it. And the circumstances, as we looked at it, and the decision-making process that I'm teaching you now, all of that went into it. And the decision was made to sell it. There are still times that the idea will float through my mind. I wish we had kept the house. And in my mind, the outcome of that decision is always positive, right? Think about that. The choice that you didn't do, or the action that you didn't do, or the action that you wish you hadn't have done, in your mind, the result of that decision is always positive, I think, at least for me. Many people will romanticize the outcome. If I had only not broken up with that, boyfriend in college or something like that. These are examples that people have shared with me, that they regret these things over time because the decision and the action that they didn't do, or that they wish they hadn't have done, they think always would have been the best thing. So they always, I'm using that as a strong word, many people romanticize the road not taken. And in their mind, it would have been so much better. Let's bring ourselves to reality, shall we? We don't know what that road not taken actually, what the result would have been. We don't know that. So when I think about my family's house, let's take the road not taken that I would romanticize. We could have kept the house. We would have continued to have had all the birthday parties and the holiday celebrations as we always did. The neighbors could drop in. It's such a beautiful view in the backyard. I'm just regretting I won't have that experience going forward. Right? That would be one way to romanticize this road not taken. Let's shift it into a different view. So the other option, let's say that we hadn't have sold the house and we would have kept it. It was a 40-year-old house. So let's say that the reality was that all the plumbing had to be replaced. And that was like a $12,000 job. And a new roof had to be put on. because it was a 40-year-old house. And that was another thousands and thousands of dollars. And let's say that beautiful view, because there were mountains and things behind it, let's say that in the following year, whoever owned that land leased it to the cell phone towers, and now there was a 5G tower aiming right into the backyard. Let's say that we had friends over and that rickety deck, somebody was standing on it and the whole deck fell and somebody dropped down and broke his leg. So we don't know actually the outcome of the road not taken. All we know is that many of us romanticize it and we give it a default as though that would have been the best thing ever. We don't know that. We don't know that. Those of you that are saying, oh, I wish I hadn't done this or that, well, play it out in your mind, other possible scenarios. All right. So I couldn't think of a very good one with the kitchen table. I don't know, maybe it fell and on somebody's ankle or something like that. But there's always a different scenario that you may not have been looking at. I've done a lot of work with grief, life after loss, moving ahead after especially losing a loved one. So many stories have come up in these grief share meetings that are all confidential. So I'm just going to generalize on one. So a woman, very tragic, her husband, they were going to church and the husband was a little bit reluctant wanting to go to church. And the wife was saying, come on, I really want to go. And, I really want you to be there with me. And the husband kind of was reluctant. Well, he was walking down the stairs and he fell down the stairs. There's no way of knowing whether he fell and the fall caused the stroke or whether he had a stroke and that caused him to fall. I tend to think that's what happened. But the sad ending to the story is that her husband passed away. She has carried so much guilt over, she felt pressuring him to go to church and that somehow this caused him to fall and have a stroke. And that is the decision of why did I, insist that he come with me? If I had just gone to church on my own, he wouldn't have fallen. And she plays out this scenario of how she believes she could have saved her husband's life by not insisting that he go to church. My faith tells me that God alone determines the length of our days, not going to church and slipping and falling down the stairs. That was not in the woman's ability to prevent. So that's one thing. But let's play this out. Let's say that he hadn't fallen and that they got in the car and they drove to church. And let's say he had the stroke in the car and that he lost control of the car and they ran into another car with a family of 4 and 2 of them were children and everybody died in that car wreck. That's the scenario. You might think I'm morbid. That's the scenario I play out in my head. It could have been worse. It could have been worse. He could have had his stroke and died while driving them to church. And they could have had an accident with another car and everyone could have died. So we don't know the road not taken. We don't know it. God alone knows it. God alone knows it. Now, let me give another example, just for those of you that are animal lovers. My girl Teddy, my lovely girl Teddy, who I found as an abandoned little tiny puppy, and now she's a 90-pound Rottweiler 11 years later. She had to have surgery at about the age of 2 for, she blew out her knee. And anyway, she had to recover from this injury. And for 8 weeks, she had to have limited activity. I could only take her out to go potty. And then she had to stay in this, about the size of our entryway, like maybe 10 by 10, so that she could heal. She didn't know the reason why I was preventing her from going out and having fun and running and jumping and playing and going on all the walks. All she knew was that this is what her situation was, but she didn't know that it was for her good. So my view, my faith tells me that God will bring us to circumstances and through circumstances for our good. That's what his word says, that all things work together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. So when I am faced with situations that I think, oh, I wish I had done this, I wish I hadn't have done that, why did I do that? I wish I could change that. I will consciously play out a scenario, a possible scenario of the road not taken. And then I can say, you know what? I don't know what that road not taken would have been. It could have turned out not to be what I thought it was. And that brings me back to the now. And then I can focus on all of the blessings of my current road taken. There are always blessings. There are always hidden gifts. And let's see what some of your comments are. Eric says, I'm pulling the heartstrings. Well, Eric, that's what I'm here for. And Cindy says, survivors of suicide carry guilt. It is such a tragedy. It is such a trauma. I personally have been touched by that. I mean, in more than one time. It's extremely traumatizing. And I do recommend for those of you that are suffering, please get professional care. There are caring individuals and trained counselors. My husband and I are trained as pastoral counselors. It's called lay counseling through our church with a spiritual faith-based approach. We are not psychotherapists or anything like that. So it's about just being a caring person to another. But those that are suffering and struggling, to me, suffering is all of the additional emotional pain that we put on top of the already existing circumstances. So if you already have a painful circumstance, please go back and watch my video about expressing and releasing intense emotions. I did that last week, I believe, or the week before. And Marcia says, it's very true. We don't know what the outcomes would have been. Trinity says, our death is appointed. Amy tries to live in the present and the future, but it's hard not to regret past decisions. So I have a video that I did called Gifts of Regret. I think that's what it was called. And I look at those experiences as a way to inform me going forward. And friends, we always are going to have regret because there's always a choice that we couldn't do. Simple things like, what, my sister's birthday is coming up, like which restaurant should we go to? You know, these are everyday choices. And you might go to a restaurant and then you're like, oh, it kind of disappointed. I wish I'd gone to the other one. It's just a fact of life. I'm just using that as an example that regret is a fact of life, but let's use it to propel us forward. So next time I'm going to do this. Next time I'm going to do that. How can I use what I've been through going forward? So please rewatch all of the videos this week about how to make decisions. And I really like yesterday's, which will help for future decisions. And then think about the road not taken and play it out. So, so the really heavy situation I was going to tell you was years ago. You know, I've done so much animal rescue and I've rescued so many animals, and I was getting pressure from society to find another home for one of my animals. And I really didn't want to. And I had left my dogs with a neighbor while I was on a short, weekend away. And the kids just fell in love with my one beautiful Jessie. They just absolutely loved her. And it ended up that I was moving to another city. And they said, oh, please, oh, please, oh, please. We want Jessie. My kids love Jessie. We want Jessie. And reluctantly, against my own wanting, I rehomed my beautiful Jessie with this family. It's a regret that I carry to this very day. And if I think about it clearly, I'm just going to be filled with pain and sorrow and regret and heartache and remorse. And I just can't tell you that when somebody says a decision you regret, that pops right up as number one in my regrets. It still pains me. I still wish I hadn't have done it. I still dream about this beautiful Jessie. I wish that I had her. So what I do for my own peace of mind is I play out the road not taken. And I say, well, let's imagine that I'd kept Jessie. It's possible It is possible that she could have escaped from the yard and gotten hit by a car. It is possible if I had kept her. Not that I've ever let the dogs escape, but it's possible. It is possible. It's possible that I could have kept her and a neighbor could have thrown over a piece of poisoned meat and she could have eaten it and died of poisoning. It's possible. You may be saying, Peggy, that's just, you're ridiculous. You're just making up fantasies to make yourself feel better. Well, yeah, I am, because it helps me feel better. And the fact is, I don't know the road not taken. It could have been the worst decision ever. I could have kept that beautiful Jessie and found another, found another homeless dog, brought her into the home. They could have had a dog fight and they both would have. I mean, yes, I play these scenarios out in my head. Am I wrong? Is that crazy? What do you think, friends? This is what I do. Let me know if that's helpful for you, the road not taken. So in my mind, I play out a happy scenario that Jessie was well loved and that the kids doted on her. And when she lived out her days in luxury and she was pampered, that's a better road not taken that I can focus on. She was well loved. She was the prize, cherished and treasured puppy in their home, and she slept with the kids on their bed and they played with her all day, and they played with her a lot more because they had more time for her than I did. That's another road not taken, a happier one that I will play out in my mind, that she was treasured and precious and cherished, and she had home cooked meals, and she lived to be 18 years old and she died in her sleep. That's the road not taken that I'm going to use, all right? Because it helps me. And we don't know what the road not taken would have been. So I think that one is better. And thank you, everybody. I am going to see you this afternoon at 3 p.m. We are going to be talking about lawsuits, and we're talking all about OSHA. And I'm going to talk about the emergency injunction that didn't happen on United. I'm going to break that down. Many of you are confused about that ruling. I'm going to clear it up for you. I like to be simple and straightforward, and I like to be positive and uplifting. And let me remember now to share with you this beautiful card from my wonderful, healthy American, Donna from Massachusetts. And look at this beautiful picture that she took. And she said, bright spot. How nice is that? So I want to share these encouragement cards so that you can be encouraged as well. She said, dear Peggy, you were spot on from the beginning about how things were going to unfold. What absolute insanity. My husband and I call it a cootie-demic. Remember cooties? When I was in 4th grade, we thought the boys had cooties and we had cootie spray. Everyone has cooties. Run for your life. How wonderful to hear about your plan for building a future freedom center. God will build this project, will bless this project because God is the project. Isn't that lovely? God is the project. We are going to honor him. I may need to use your religious exemption information due to the agency I work for discussing the needle. Remember, I don't use the M word. I call it measures, illegal measures, because of the illegal needle measures. I feel relieved knowing I am prepared if the need arises. Thank you. I can't imagine going through these times without deep faith to cut through all of the deception. Yes, friends, your faith will give you that ability to discern the deception. And she said, in lieu of sending you flowers, I'm sharing some bright spots in my garden with you. Your spirit and energy is like that of the Indian summer daisies on the front of the card. That is so nice, Donna. Thank you. You're a bright spot in all of our lives. You are a blessing. Well, you are a blessing to me. All of you healthy Americans here are a blessing to me. I am the lucky one. You're hearing from me. I'm hearing from all of you. It's so wonderful. I thank God for you, for Pastor Dave, and for all of the Americans who are fighting this battle in the name of God and freedom. Good will prevail. God is the most mighty. The truth will set us free. Much love and appreciation, Donna. And she sent me these blue delphinium. These are from her garden. Isn't that so pretty? Yeah, I just love those colors. So thank you, everyone, sending me the cards and letters. I will have a link. I will have the address in the description box below. I will be with you today at 3 p.m. Peggy to the rescue. I will be back with you live on Monday for the Healthy American Morning. And we will have this premiere airing tomorrow, 10 a.m. on the backup channel, Living Swell with Peggy Hall, you are going to see exactly what our last Thanksgiving was like. It's actually, it's one of my favorite videos. It's kind of funny in a way. I think you'll know what I mean once you see that. So signing off, friends. Appreciate all the moderators, everybody participating, and I'll see you in the very next live stream, always at thehealthyamerican.org. Find me on Instagram, find me on Facebook. I